Hello. What's going on? Oh, okay. Wow. Okay, so they say that if there's ever a conversation that you are, avoiding, or a conversation you don't want to have, it means you haven't healed from it yet. They also say time is a little finicky. And that much is something that I experience. Today I've been put through the ringer. Do tell us what happened. Okay. Since you're so curious, I'll let you know. Let them know. Well, today I'm having a lot of flashbacks today. And I'm getting sent back in time to a period of my life where I was experiencing massive amounts of paranoia, the feeling of being alone and having the world against me, being up against the world, me versus the world. I'm having flashbacks and thrown into... It's deja vu. It really feels like deja vu, like the worst kind of deja vu possible. I'm sent back to an era of my life where everything felt sterilized, and home didn't really feel like home anymore, and it felt just like a place. It felt like a space with things that you would call home objects. And, it's like the spirit within these things. I didn't really feel like a connection or a sort of like love to any of my belongings. And everything felt kind of empty because, everything felt kind of empty because the feeling that I was experiencing was so overwhelming that, every single materialistic object just had no meaning. Like, my life in its entirety was taking on a new perspective, like the perspective of what it is to live a life in society and to be a person. And it felt like everything in my entire universe was just something that was borrowed. There was a lot of, I wouldn't even say meaninglessness. It wasn't like my universe was filled with meaninglessness, but that I was just filled with so much stress and anxiety and worried about a bad future coming into fruition, and my life taking a kind of turn where my freedoms would be taken away from me, and I would be like sinking into the mind frame of survival over everything. Survival over everything. It doesn't matter how miserable you are or how sad you are or how repressed you are. It's like, you're gonna grow up to learn how to be this way, motherfucker. You're gonna learn how to shut the fuck up and just go with, you're gonna go with what Stan says. You're gonna go with what Chad says. And Chad is round SpongeBob. Hi, how are ya? And, and Chad is, Chad has a friend, and Chad's friend is not Starfire, Chad's friend is not Vuvuzela or Violet, Chad's friend is named Sarah or Jen. Anyways, what I'm saying is there are some really round cookies. There were some really round cookies being baked today in the oven, and it freaked me the fuck out because I felt very entrapped inside of a culture where if I were to express how I felt in this moment of things, bro, I would have blown my cover. All right, the tarp would have flown off the roof. You know, the Nebuchadnezzar would have been discovered, and the AI, robotic, futuristic chrome bots would be on my tail. And it was, oh God, it was fucked up. It was so fucked up. Jesus Christ, dude. And I mean, I take it better than how I did in years past when this kind of event will happen in my life. And I was able to take a different perspective on it ever so slightly, because I'm in a different position than I was years prior. You know, years ago, whenever, you know, I'd kind of come across the same sort of, you know, the 10,000 visions of death, the 10,000 visions of horror nightmare realm. You know, when Coraline, you know the movie Coraline's Family? This is a song about Coraline. She's a freak, she's a dog, she's a pal of mine. Yeah, like the Button Eyes family. Secret door, make your way through the secret door and find Button Eyes family. I want to take your eyes, give you some new ones. Anyways, you know, it's only fitting that yesterday I had, like, the best day ever. No cap. It's only fitting that yesterday I had the day that was like the 10,000 visions of heaven. The 10,000 images of heaven. I had this kind of day yesterday, so it's only natural that right after you hit the fucking worst day you can have, which is all of your trauma resurfacing just to see how you feel. Just to let you know that you're never too far away from it. And it is beyond interesting, because it's in times like these where I really try and figure out what is God asking of me in these moment of things. Like, is he saying like, hey, look, I know this might not be ideal, but maybe the lesson here, you know, maybe it's not like life is a test. I don't like viewing life as a test with right answers and wrong answers. But life is something that, you know, if you try one method, you'll feel one way, and if you try another method, you'll feel another way. And so, in a way, you can kind of, you know, depending on if you go with the grain or against the grain, or how you go with the grain or against the grain, you can have a sort of effect on life and sort of direct it a little bit with the rudders and, you know, the speed, the tempo of things, and your own internal feelings. You know, you have a little bit of it's like you're surfing, okay? You have a little bit of control over these things. It's ever so slightly. And yeah, I was kind of just trying to discover what the fuck I was supposed to be doing in these instances of things, because, you know, I felt utterly confused, right? Like, here's how I felt. You know, if everybody is going one way, but you're going the other way, you're the odd man out. And, you know, sometimes you just don't even know what the fuck people are going in one direction for, and you gotta find out for yourself. And so there's a battle between whether you should just trust, you know, that everybody besides you is going in one direction, so maybe you should go that way too. Maybe they know something. You know, it's your tribe mentality. It's your animal brain kicking in, like, well, how retarded could they be? I mean, they're all going that way. It would seem a little sketchy to do anything other than that. So, that was a big trial and tribulation in my mind. It's like, oh my God, You can hear a pin drop. That's what I'm talking about. Hear a pin drop. Anyways, I mean, I recognize that it's not a culture that I can be a part of, because the consensus reality of the culture that it is you've got one line leader, and it's not a dialogue, it's not a conversation. None of these things are conversational. All right, it's not something where it's a Socratic seminar and, it's just one thing to a next thing, to one person to another, and it's like 50 heads on one problem. It's not a think tank. It's a, here's the idea, here's the prompt, and then I'm sending it downward. It's like a hierarchical pyramid scheme, a trickle down. I say this thing, and then these two will say these things to you, and then these two will say these things to those 8, and then those 8 will, bring it about to the 64, and it's just this sort of trickle down economics. It's not conversational. And so I felt like I felt like I just walked into, I was Tom Cruise in Eyes Wide Shut. Like, I just walked into some crazy over my head shit. Are you kidding me? So, yeah, like a whole underground world. And I am outnumbered here. And so I was like, Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. Oh, Lord in heaven above, have mercy. And it was funny. It was funny because something came to me later. I was like, oh my God, I realize how people become religious. Because it was in this moment in time, I finally got a room for breathing, just a little bit of space. And in that instance, I was like, Jesus Christ. Jesus! And only in this moment in time, like, that's all I could say. That was all I was thinking. I was like, Jesus Christ! And I was like, it makes so much sense how people turn to religion, or they come to religion. Because that just happens to be an expression that we use in America. And so if anybody sort of encounters that kind of, what the fuck is going on kind of scenario, yeah, they'll be like, Jesus Christ. Especially if they want nothing to do with it. Especially if they just get an icky, weird, sticky, bad feeling about it. And they just need to get away somehow. All you can do is turn to Jesus Christ. All you can do is call out Jesus. Because you don't know what to do. You try and summon and conjure up the most powerful being of good there is. And Jesus Christ just happens to be the most well-known one, right? If you call out Orgla Borgly do, like, there's no sort of association behind that. Orgla Borgly do. Like, if anything, if you picture something, you picture some kind of Prussian blue alien figure. Like something out of Sonic DX or Sonic XD, that GameCube game. That emerald water creature. And so you need something a little more like known amongst the community. Jesus Christ, he has a piece of imagery. He wears robes and whatnot. He's got flowing hair, and he's known for being kind and wise, and makes good decisions even when it's difficult. Always is moral and ethical, and lives his life properly. And these are the kind of principles that just, you need them. You need them in moments like when you encounter something really terrifying, because it is the real life version of, it's beyond scared straight. It is, yeah. You just encounter some real underground, crazy phenomena of the universe, and you need to cleanse your eyes, you need to cleanse your soul, and you're looking for something. Oh, you're like, please, oh please, oh please, oh please, I'll never do that again. Oh please, 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 just keep me away from this life. Please, keep me away from this life. Anything and everything, please, please, please. Begging, praying, crying out to the primordial energy of the universe to somehow guide you away and to repel these forces out of your life and propulse you into something new and of good nature. Okay. So this is how people get into Jesus Christ, in my summation of things. And what's my personal take on it? Shout out Jesus Christ. My favorite image of Jesus Christ is if you have an iPhone and if you're at the text, if you're in the iMessage of the iPhone and you go to that little plus sign and you scroll down, it says like images or like GIFs or something like that. And then you look up Jesus Christ. There's a meme of him like, sliding into the scene. The digital glasses will like do like a JPEG drop down. And it's like the deal with it glasses. Deal with it. And Jesus Christ is there. Boom, glasses fall on him. And then he hits you with the finger guns. And a little, shows his teeth. Winks. Jesus Christ. Yes, my guy. Finger guns. That's my favorite Jesus Christ meme. That's my favorite image of the Lord and Savior. He's like, yep, fucking got your back, bro. I got your back. And so I'll run you through my experience really quickly. Here's what's going on. Here's what's going on inside of my mind, right? My mind is in a sort of battle between, should I be courageous in this moment and fight? Should I be displaying my discomfort, or should I be getting the fuck out of here and finding a space where I can exist and then I don't have to bother any of these people in their already strumming along culture? If someone comes up to my door, like some kind of Jehovah's Witness, do I need to like stand there with the door open and berate them for their life choices? And should I like be there and be like, I don't know. Or do I just not answer the fucking door? Right? It's something of this nature. I don't know. This is where uncertainty is very, very dense in my life. I try and I'm constantly in between, trying to find the balance between accepting and embodying the truth as I walk the earth. And oftentimes what that'll be is, oh God, eyes wide open, quaking mess. What the fuck am I supposed to be? I don't know what to pay attention to, so I might as well just pay attention to all of it. Open my eyes wider, just gaping apertures for the world to pour into. There's this. And then sometimes I think a little bit more artistically. I think a little bit more like, how can I tailor and sort of manifest and conjure and maintain a specific kind of feeling in my life, like as if I was protecting a candle flame from the wind out there in the universe. And so what that'll look like is fuck the absolute truth as I perceive it. How about we do like some kind of localized truth, right? How about we do some like localized tailoring, like how I can pull out a mantra of the universe to sort of allow my mind to focus on one specific, hyper focus on one specific thing. And if I focus on this thing, that means that it sort of pulls me towards various things, and then it pulls me away from other things. And it also just gives me kind of like a fuck you it gives me kind of like a fuck you, I don't care what you think kind of vibe. But not even in a necessarily bad way, but in the kind of way that if we were walking on the sidewalk and we were going to eventually run into each other, I don't care. I don't care that it's like, I don't care what you think, I'll just cross the street, right? This is me. I'm like, I'd rather avoid you, and I don't really care if you know that I'm trying to avoid you or not. I'm just going to avoid you, okay? Because this is what I want. So whether your feelings are hurt by that, me avoiding you, or you're actually secretly happy that I crossed the street and avoided you because you didn't want to have that sort of interaction either, then it is what it is. But really, I'm just trying to operate from principles that bring me sort of just peace of mind. Sometimes I'll pretend like I'm in service to some kind of God inside of me. Like I am at service to the God inside of me, and so I am here to make decisions on their behalf and try and I imagine them like a little prince, like a little king, and I'm there, just kind of being an overseer or whatever, and just sort of being the decision maker, and sort of I know what they like. I know they're like autistic or something like that, or they got like sensory issues, and so I'm just there, right? I'm there. And so I know that they don't like interacting with people. I don't put them through that, okay? I know that they don't like ordering their food and they'd rather be silent and just listen to music on some like over-the-ear headphones. And I don't give a fuck, right? I'm just there solely for, the imaginary God inside of me. Just the imaginary little kid with sensory issues inside of me. Just there to serve his peace of mind, And so that's one perspective, and that's an illusion, okay? I know that that's not reality. But I also know that life is fucking weird. Life is weird. Because I can do that. With my mind, I can create a story, or maybe the story was there and I see the story, or the story just whatever. There's a story there, and then I'm like, I can invest in that story, and then to the degree that I get caught in the dream and I live it out as though it were reality, then it changes a whole onslaught of experiences. It's like putting on 3D glasses, we can say. And so that is, that's reality, but I recognize it is illusory and that it is not ultimate truth or whatever. But, I hate it because there is no ultimate truth, right? Like, in the very same way that just, sort of, wide-eyed taking in the world in its entirety, that is not, reality at its fullest. You could just never see it all at once, all at the same time. I don't think you can. In the first image, I'm sort of looking at the world and perceiving the world from within my mind first. I'm perceiving and interpreting the world from within the story and the filters of my mind and how I'd like to see it or whatever. I have like the filters and preference and the settings adjusted beforehand. And then, life ensues and it sort of extrudes itself in one way. And then there's the other one where it's just life all together all at once. And then it's like, whatever it does to me, that is the extruded shape. I am the extruded shape in that instance, not the filters that dictate what the shape will look like. Okay, so I think that might be like that was the closing of the loop, the tying of the knot of those ideas that I had today, some of them. And so yeah, today was ridiculous as hell, dude, because yeah, man. I was basically just confronted with my nightmares of how I don't want my life to ever be. And it was terrifying because it was really close to me. And I need to really just, I need to be patient with this. I need to be patient with this because I do recognize that, I mean, if I have this kind of fear and I push it away prematurely before all the chemical reactions really get a chance to do anything, I come out the other side crooked in some kind of way. With like some kind of like 21st chromosomal fuck up. Not to say that people with Down syndrome are fucked up, but you know, maybe something else like elephant man's disease, elephant syndrome, elephant skin syndrome, or something like that, or just whatever. You know what I'm talking about? Just some like I'll come out fucked up if I push this away too soon because of how much it terrifies me. Like there is something in here that is trying to reach me and trying to teach me a lesson about, whether it's like a spiritual lesson, like a sort of like some kind of like technique, some kind of mind aikido technique, or you know, just the ability to relax when you're on the cusp of having some kind of mental, psychotic, and emotional breakdown all at once, all of them all at once. And just having the ability to maybe relax in the middle of that. You know, first of all, I don't know what the lesson is. I don't know quite what the lesson is, but I feel as though there is something there. And I think that what it's saying is, well, oh, you're so scared of having to work a 9 to 5? Well, okay, instead of being so adamant that you'll never ever do that again because you're in charge of your destiny and all, you know, you're the master of your own universe, like you say, how about this? How about we try this on for size? How about we show you what it is to be a compromised person? How about we show you what it is when you are ruled by terror and fear and you're frozen within that and you can't open your mouth? Dude, I felt like Neo when it's like, yo, and there was just like a fucking skin shit over my mouth and I couldn't say anything. I was just so scared. I was so fucking scared, dude. I just felt so tense, dude. It felt like when I was a little kid and, you know, the people who were supposed to be taking care of me, you know, the people who, dude, it was terrifying. It was like the first time when you were a little kid and everything was just all good up until this point. Everything was all good up until this point. And it was the first time you ever experienced something that truly shook your boat. Like people who you just felt really safe around, they did some like code switching, you know, or they changed out in the world in a way that your primal system started lighting up, where you're like, they're different. This is different. This is not your average darkness. This is advanced darkness. And so all you can do in this moment of things is just fight, flight, or freeze. And so I went through all of these various methods in this instant, and yeah, it struck me to the very, it touched something, dude, I'm telling you, man, it was, like Harry Potter with the Dementors. I had to whip out Expecto Patronum before they just start sucking my soul from my face. I had to whip out one of these moves. But in this moment in time, it was actually the memory where I didn't have the spell down pat. This was like a reliving of when I was utterly powerless and my soul was getting sucked out of my face and I was like blacking out. You get me? Like, soul was getting sucked out of my face. I didn't have a chocolate frog I didn't have a sensu bean to call upon. I was just there getting my fucking soul sucked out of my face. And that was horrifying because I don't know about y'all, but I kind of feel like life doesn't ever really always kind of hit me with the wormhole move. But sometimes life will hit me with the wormhole where it's like, yeah, life and time isn't linear, okay? I can teleport you back into any kind of memory, and you just don't even know how close these things are to you until I pop it out and show you. Like, you could, just out of nowhere, life will, you'll be walking down the street, you'll be a sober person, and then all of a sudden you get a whiff of marijuana, right? And depending on your own sort of relationship with whatever that is in your life, it'll have some kind of effect on you. And maybe that's something that's really potent in your life, the sort of whatever, relationship with marijuana or the kind of, like, memories that'll be brought up. And, you might have good ones or you might be reminded of some fucking bad ones, depending on that whole thing. But, I'm merely just drawing parallels and using that as a variable to, like, how a smell or a something in the world, a sight, a sound, it'll be nostalgic in a way that reverberates through time and it takes you somewhere. It's echoes of past memories. Memories from the yesteryears. And so such that happened to me today, and it was one of the most difficult eras in my life. And I had to call upon tools in my life that I didn't even know, I had to call upon tools in my life that I don't even have the words to describe what they were. But anyway, this was one of those moments where life feels all too real. All too real. And I was trying to see through it. Like, I was trying to find the light in that. Like, well, surely there's, like, something, there's play in here, right? There's gotta be something, like, funny about this, right? Like, people are playing a joke on me, right? Like, we don't actually believe this, right? Like, we're just playing around, right? Dude, it was almost like when you're a little kid and there's a group of kids that are, like, slightly older than you. And at first, it feels like they're, like, fun or, like, maybe they're playing with you. And then, maybe just a little bit later, it feels like they're messing with you, but you can't exactly tell if they're your friends or if you are just something that they don't care about, and you're just some kind of, like, play object in their life. Just there for their fun, and they don't really care if they hurt you, and you don't even know what is right about the world anymore. You don't know if you can trust a smile. You don't know if you can trust people that, seem like they're having fun and they're in a good mood. It's weird. It's so weird. It's like, It's all of a sudden you recognize your own sort of vulnerability and your weaknesses, and that people can take advantage of you, and people can hurt you. People might be there to hurt you, and you're not exactly sure if people are being friendly or if they're fucking with you. I went through something like this, and I came out the other side. And I just want to say, thank you, God, thank you, Lord. I'm grateful to be alive. I am so grateful for the kind of optimistic feeling I have about life in this current moment, and the current sort of view that I have. I'm excited. I'm excited for the near future is what is on my mind, and this is what I'd like to say. I'm excited about the near future, and I'm feeling good about what is happening in my life right now. And it's, this is the aftermath of a serious seismic event. I'm talking 19 on the Richter scale. And so seismic, fault lines were sliding, torsion, instantaneous mountain converging, and, freaking fault lines, valleys opening up, all this kind of shit. And, thank you, all these sorts of things. And okay. I don't need to defend what the fuck religion is or what the fuck God is in my life. But I do feel compelled to say it, and I hope that one day this can be more of a shorthand thing that I don't feel compelled to even talk about in this kind of like long drawn out kind of way anymore. It's like, are you a religious Bible thumping guy? Are you a Christian guy? Do you believe in God? It's like, sometimes I feel really uncertain and really uncomfortable about life. And, sometimes all I can do is just kind of like, please make it stop. Universe, please. And it's like, so I'll just use the word God, or maybe I'll say fucking Jesus Christ, please help. Jesus Christ, this is a feeling I don't really like. Can we do something about this? Hey, any voices in my consciousness want to come out and just sort of like hug me or give me some comfort me or hold my hand? Right now I feel really strange and alone. And then other times, certainty is back in my life, or optimism is back in my life, or there's like an okayness, just the slightest ever, just the smallest little tidbit of an ember that I can see something with, and it's like, I don't know, I'll feel a thankfulness or a gratitude, and so I just express the thankfulness and the gratitude. And where do I give it? Where do I point it to? What do I project? What do I aim that sort of gratitude and thankfulness at? I just say, fuck it. I'll give it to God. I mean, why not? It's not like I have a yellow fire hydrant right in front of me. I'm right outside of the USPS. It's not like I'd say, oh my God, I'm so thankful and grateful for how I feel about right now and this future. Thank you, fire hydrant. You know what I'm saying? That's absurdist. And, it's borderline blasphemous and disrespectful in my eyes. It's almost like making a mockery of... for me, it just comes off as, like, mean-spirited. Making a mockery of your own life, in a way. Thank you, fire hydrant, for It's like, fuck you, dude. Fuck you. Okay. So, this is my life is now or never. I'm gonna go and send this package. I will be talking. I will get to you another day. I will continue doing these things. I will catch you in the next one. And that's it for this episode of Hole in the Wall. That's it for this episode of Who's That Pokemon? Okay. I'm done for now. Thank you. Goodbye. See ya later.